government's revenue base to effectively cover expenditures and ensure sustainable macroeconomic stability. It also provides critical policy directions for revenue mobilization and prudent resource allocation, serving as a foundational document for the upcoming budget year's preparations. According to the statement of the Council, this endorsement highlights the government's commitment to sound financial management and sustainable economic growth. Secondly, the Council has endorsed two financial support agreements. The $49.55 million USD loan from the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa will be channeled towards a youth employment creation project, specifically linking them with agro-industrial parks. The loan carries a low interest rate and a 20-year repayment period, including a 5-year grace period. Additionally, a $45.110 million SDR, approximately USD 60 million, credit from the International Development Association is allocated to improve healthcare services for women and girls. This interest-free credit, with a 0.75% service charge, has a 38-year repayment period, including a 6-year grace period. Both loan agreements were unanimously approved, confirming their alignment with Ethiopia's national debt strategy and referred to the House of People's Representatives. Thirdly, the Council discussed the regulation to determine service fees for overseas employment provided by the Ministry of Labor and Skills. This regulation is set to enable the ministry to cover its operational costs and boost internal revenue, while carefully considering the affordability for service users. The new fee structure will be implemented upon its financial publication in the Federal Nagarit Gazette. Fourthly, the Council extensively discussed and unanimously approved a draft proclamation on Ethiopian overseas employment. The draft legislation is prepared to safeguard the rights, safety, and dignity of Ethiopian citizens working abroad on a long-term basis. Concurrently, it aims to ensure that the country appropriately benefits from this sector. The approved draft was referred to the House of People's Representatives for further deliberation. Finally, the Council deliberated on and unanimously approved a draft proclamation on plant protection and quarantine. The proclamation aims to establish a modern, technology-based pest surveillance and early warning system in Ethiopia. It will also regulate the import and export of plants, plant products, and other controlled items in accordance with international plant protection agreements. Furthermore, the proclamation seeks to prevent the spread of controlled pests if they enter the country, thereby providing robust protection to Ethiopia's vital agricultural sector. The draft was referred to the House of People's Representatives.
The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission commences agenda gathering from federal institutions and associations in Finni City, the capital of Ethiopia. Our senior reporter and news anchor Daniel Chala joins us live from the capital to tell us more about what's going on there. Daniel, you can proceed.
Well, Anwar, thank you. The Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission so far organized the agenda gathering and identification process in 11 regional states and 2 city administrations, which makes it 13. And this, today's agenda gathering session, which is kicked off this morning, is the federal institutions and associations agenda gathering session. And this session, different stakeholders are here to to talk on their agendas and identify the critical agendas which needs to be discussed in at the federal level. I'm joined by Dr. Jonas Adai, Commissioner of the Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission, to give us a brief on today's agenda gathering session, which is federal institutions and associations. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed for having me.
Well, today we have the federal institutions and associations agenda gathering session. So what is expected? Tell us about that.
Great. We can summarize it in 3 words. The first one is agenda gathering. Number 2, selection of participants at the national dialogue level, which is going to take place, God willing, inshallah, in 3 to 4 months' time in that national conference. And the third one is democratic exercise at grassroots level, particularly in Ethiopia's political deficit is fundamentally the listening, the respecting, sympathetic understanding of each other. That's missing. So these three things are to be delivered, and we're expecting this to happen and see them in practice.
Well, the other, so far you, the Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission were successful in gathering agendas, identifying and handing it to the Council of the Commission. So what is expected from this particular agenda gathering session?
From this particular agenda gathering session, because this is at federal level, as opposed to what we had at grassroots level down there. There we divided the entire participants into stakeholders and constituencies. But here, where they all have been, some of them are executives, some are, as you know them, of course, makers of the law of the country, such as House of Representatives and Federation at the same time. And you also have executives and those who also are translators, such as police, entire security structure are there. So we are expecting hands-on experience, particularly what they think about the fundamental causes of conflict in this country in their perception. So we are supposed to collect those agenda from them. As I said, not only collecting agenda, but also having selected their own leaders who are going to take part in at the national level, which is going to take place, maybe God willing, as I said, in 2 to 3 months' time. So we are also expecting those selected representatives of these federal level participants. And finally, as once again I said, to be honest, gathering agenda is okay, it's physical, you can see it, and having representatives is okay, you can see it's quite physical. Most important is the democratic dialogue, practicing democracy, see it in practice. So how much can they really respect each other? Because some people may have totally divergent ideas, political parties, for instance. So that being the case, how much tolerance, how much respect is being exercised? We're going to see that. That's to be taken as a real part of building the nation. Let me repeat that. National dialogue has 3 pillars. Number 1, building national consensus. Number 2, building trust between state and society. And number 3, making dialogue a culture of this country. So these are fundamentals to build sustainable peace in this country, to make Ethiopia truly greater as we dream about. So that's what we're expecting here to come from.
Dr. Jonas Adaye, Commissioner of the Ethiopian National Dialogue Commission, thank you for your insights.
Thank you very much, OBN. I'm sure you have been trying hard. You are presenting in about over 20 languages, and you are reaching out to our community. Please keep your excellent work as always. We're expecting you to do that. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. You're welcome. Anwar, this agenda gathering session, which is federal institution and associations agenda gathering session, will run for the coming 2 days, which means tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. We'll bring you more updates on the matter. Thank you, Anwar.
Wow, welcome, Daniel Chala, with your guest, Dr. Jonas Adaye, lecturer of Addis Ababa University and Peace and Security area, of course, and he thanked OBN as well that he knows in depth about OBN 20 languages and 3 of them foreign languages. Thank you, Daniel Chala. Bye-bye. Director General of Public Diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Shibru Mamo, says Ethiopia in public diplomacy activities that upholds its national interests and strengthen regional cooperation are underway, stating that the education opportunities and Green Legacy program that Ethiopia provides to neighboring countries have created strong people-to-people relations. Leta Teresa at the story.
Public Diplomacy Director General at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Shibru Mamo, in an interview with Ethiopian news agency, explained that The rapid economic and technological changes currently being registered in Ethiopia are playing an irreplaceable role in the development of the country's landscape. He said that the ongoing corridor development activities in Finfinne will make the city suitable for tourism conferences and connect Ethiopia and Africa with the rest of the world through people to
History tells us that Ethiopia is a country that has never been colonized. It is the second populous country in Africa. It is also a birthplace of humankind and the headquarters of the African Union. The city is the third diplomatic hub for diplomatic community next to New York and Geneva. Finfinne is undergoing a rapid change and becoming center for conference tourism, and thus regard international events connecting Ethiopia and Africa were held in the past years.
Ambassador Shibro stated that Ethiopia's foreign policy prioritizes its neighbors and thus the country has successfully worked with parliament, scholars, and students' associations and artists in public-to-public relations with neighboring countries. He also explained that the successful work done in public diplomacy has contributed greatly to the national interest of the country and the successful construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam.
Ethiopians and Ethiopian descent living abroad have made significant efforts in raised funds, purchasing bonds, and giving gifts. Not merely this, they have also done immense efforts to thwarting unnecessary pressures posed against us in connection with the construction of Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam at various international forums.
On the other hand, he noted that the scholarship and Green Legacy program that Ethiopia provides to citizens of neighboring countries are strengthening people-to-people relations and regional cooperation. He affirmed that Ethiopia will diligently work to strengthen people-to-people ties in infrastructure, sports, and other sectors by consolidating its public diplomacy with its neighbors and other countries.
There have also been works carried out with neighboring countries. This year, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia Ministry of Education, in collaboration with various stakeholders, has offered scholarships to the students of neighboring countries, as we have also undertaken diplomatic activities and making monitoring. In light of public diplomacy, it is a great job. The other public diplomacy activity underway in collaboration with neighboring countries is a Green Legacy program. In the recent time, enormous diplomatic activities were done under the initiative of the Ethiopian Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed. In the future, the work of integrating the countries through sports, infrastructure will also be taken into consideration.
State Minister for Education Kora Toshune says research outcomes of higher education institutions in Africa need to lead into meaningful societal and economic transformation. The 23rd International Conference on Private Higher Education in Africa was held in Finne City yesterday under the theme, quote, "The Academic Profession and Research Excellence in Africa." The conference said aimed to explore the evolving landscape of higher education and served as a vital platform for dialogue, collaboration, and innovation. Addressing the conference, State Minister for Education Kora Toshune said the research works conducted by higher education institutions need to be used for problem solving and achieving development of the society.
The outcome of research outputs should be measured by their impact on society at large. Our research should embrace sustainable development goals and targets. They should contribute to the global efforts in addressing issues that are common challenge to humanity, that is climate change, sustainable energy, poverty and social instability, environmental degradation, pandemics, and so on. In Africa, our higher education institutions should work hard to secure a decent place for Africa and its people in the coming knowledge and technology-driven society. Africans should not just be consumers of knowledge and technology, but should be part of the global knowledge generation and transmission hubs.
president of St. Mary University, Associate Professor Wendosen Tamrat, for his part, said as universities are increasingly recognized as engines of innovation, it is vital that research agendas need to align with local realities.
Research for development and impact emphasizes the indispensable role of research in addressing Africa's complex and urgent development challenges. As universities are increasingly recognized as engines of innovation, it's vital that research agendas are aligned with local realities and that research outcomes lead to meaningful societal and economic transformation. It's only through strategic investment in research and societal impact that our institutions can truly fulfill their development mandates.
Edward Makume, on behalf of Professor Saidu Madugu, Director of the African Union Commission's Department of Education, Science, Technology and Innovation, said that currently global knowledge economies are advancing at an unprecedented pace.
For Africa to compete and thrive, we must urgently prioritize and scale up investments in research, ensuring that our academic and research ecosystems are robust, well-funded, and aligned with continental and global development agendas. Our discussions today are framed by two critical sub-themes. First, the academic profession in times of change challenges us to reflect on how African academia must evolve amid digital transformation, demographic shifts, and the demand for skills that drive innovation. Our educators and researchers are the custodians of knowledge, yet they must also be agile, responsive, and empowered to meet the needs of a rapidly changing world. Second, research for development impact compels us to ensure that Africa's research outputs translate into real-world solutions. Too often, groundbreaking discoveries remain confined to journals rather than transforming lives. We must bridge the gap between laboratories, communities, between theory and practice, so that research directly addresses Africa's challenges from healthcare and food security to renewable energy and smart infrastructure.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs disclosed that the capital of Ethiopia, Finfinne, has reinforced its position as a premier hub for international diplomacy and conference tourism with the successful hosting of multiple high-level regional and global summits in recent weeks. Spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nabiat Getachew, briefed the media on the matter. Ishetu Opsi had the story.
Spokesperson of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nabiat Getachew, in his media briefing mentioned that Foreign Minister Gideon Timotheus made successful participation in the third European Union, African Union ministerial meeting in Brussels, Belgium. Nabiat pointed out that the meeting focused on working together on selected development packages to boost investment in the continent, taking the comprehensive cooperation between Europe and Africa to a better position.
Honorable Minister held talk with EU International Cooperation Agency head and also held a lot of bilateral discussion. He talked with Australian Foreign Minister, Belgium Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, EU Internal and Refugee Affairs Commissioner, Malta's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Croatian Foreign Minister and Slovenian Foreign Affairs Minister. Dr. Gideon briefed them all Ethiopian interest and the national benefit agendas.
The spokesperson reiterated that the regional, continental, and international conferences hosted in Finfinne have confirmed the city's status as the African global capital of diplomacy.
In the last few weeks, Finfinne City hosted continental and international conference successful, which showcased the city as Africa and the world diplomatic hub.
According to Nabiat, with citizen-based diplomacy work carried out, more than 700 citizens who were in difficult circumstances in Myanmar were repatriated to their country.
በማያንማር በአስቸጋሪ ሁኔታ ውስጥ የነበሩ ኢትዮጵያውያንን ወደ ሀገራቸው የመመለስ ጥረት
The repatriation of citizens in serious challenge in Myanmar in the last week has been strengthened. So far, 700 Ethiopia have been repatriated. Effort is being exerted to repatriate the remaining Ethiopians through Ethiopia's embassy in New Delhi, India.
The spokesperson states that there are individuals and institutions that are defrauding people by claiming to have the representation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs officials regarding employment and free education opportunities. He mentions that the government is making necessary follow-up to make them accountable by the law.
Moving on, Ethiopia said will host the second Africa Climate Summit, which aims to highlight Africa's role in crafting global climate solutions from September 8 to 10, 2025. This was disclosed at the Climate Resilient Green Economy CRG Forum Technical Working Group meeting that took place in Finnish City, Ethiopia yesterday. Opening the meeting, State Minister for Planning and Development Suyu Mekonnen said climate change is a significant emergency affecting every part of lives, disturbing ecosystem, forcing communities to relocate, and endangering vital resources.
Climate smart agriculture initiatives such as Lema Trufat, the Green Legacy, renovation of corridor of Addis Ababa, e-mobility policy intervention, and transformative climate-smart infrastructure development across the country, showcasing not only Ethiopia's leadership but also determination for green and sustainable development. The vision of the government of Ethiopia in hosting this summit and gathering is to change the traditional narrative of Africa as always being a victim to climate change. But Africa can take a global leadership in shaping global climate solutions. This could be showcased and manifested in a number of practical climate actions in Ethiopia and the whole Africa.
Norwegian Embassy Climate and Forest Councillor Liv Sidnes stated in her opening remarks that Norway has been collaborating with Ethiopia on the implementation of the CRGE strategy as well as the nationally determined contribution NDC.
Norway has been co-chairing the CRGE forum since its very beginning back in 2018. And since 2011, Norway has been working very closely with Ethiopia in operationalizing and implementing the CRG strategy. In Norway, we've had a particular focus on the forest, since forest has the largest mitigation potential in Ethiopia's NDCs. We are also now very much engaged in assisting the Ethiopian government on accessing the carbon markets, and mostly the forestry related.
British Embassy, Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office Climate and Nature Lead, Dr. Nina Hinsen-Wright, expressed optimism for a fruitful dialogue.
You will see that the ACS so far has a really strong focus on the emerging agenda of carbon markets, and this is close to our heart as the UK here in Ethiopia. We're really supporting the establishment of a carbon market here in Ethiopia, and particularly, or amongst others, we're funding work to establish a legal framework, and so where also the legal gaps analysis was presented. And so we as the UK are looking forward to continue this work and really help to get this over the line for implementation, so that hopefully soon we can have a functioning carbon market in Ethiopia, and for Ethiopia to really harness all the fantastic opportunities that could be within that reach.
A project aimed at addressing the complex links between climate change, environmental disasters, conflict, and migration in the Eastern Africa region was launched yesterday in Finfinne City. Addressing the launching ceremony, Ethiopia's Director General of Refugees and Returnees Service, Tayyiba Hassan, said the vital regional initiative reflects a shared commitment to tackling one of the most complex and pressing challenges.
The government of Ethiopia has been proactive in its response. Through the Green Legacy Initiative, we have committed to restoring degraded environments, managing natural resources, and planting billions of trees across the country. Our climate resilience and green economy strategy promotes clean, renewable energy and aims to build a sustainable, inclusive future. Importantly, these efforts extend to refugee hosting areas, embracing inclusive approach.
Vice President of Addis Ababa University, Dr. Jailu Umar, said the project under the university is dedicated to strengthening migration governance, building institutional capacity, and fostering inclusive policy dialogue that translate into meaningful change.
Led by the Horn of Africa Regional Environment Center and Network at Addis Ababa University, this initiative marks a significant step in addressing one of the most urgent challenges facing our region and the world, the interconnected crisis of environmental change, conflict, and human mobility.
President of Horn of Africa Regional Environment Center and Network, Professor George Owedi, said the mission is to ensure care for the environment.
Of course, is to ensure that we can take care of the environment, strengthen the attributes with regards to natural resource management, and ensure that we advocate for sustainable development and governance across the Horn of Africa.
Executive Director of Horn of Africa Regional Environment Center and Network, Professor Mekwa Argao, said the center is a catalyst for collaboration between academic institutions, policymakers, civil society, communities, and also the private sector.
Over the past 15 years, our center and network has implemented a range of regional programs and projects with tangible and lasting impacts. It has led initiatives that range from ecosystem restoration, biodiversity conservation, to environmental education and community-based climate adaptation. It has in fact helped design and implement sustainable energy solutions in rural communities, and also advanced waste-to-energy technologies in urban areas like Addis Ababa, and also in remote rural districts in some of the regional centers.
You've been watching OBN Horn of Africa English News Service with me, Anwar Khalil. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. Stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.